The fourth largest economy in the world just dropped a huge Bitcoin bombshell, and it's extra significant just because who is currently in power and how he has been very anti-Bitcoin. So this could flip the script on one of the most tech-forward areas in the entire world. And believe it or not, it is all locked into the United States when we have this major announcement from Dennis Porter, how this California governor candidate is now a huge Bitcoin president or candidate, excuse me. But the biggest portion of all of this is it is now making Bitcoin a bipartisan issue, because not only has Bitcoin been somewhat of a controversial topic, it's really been looked at as a strictly Republican topic. But now we have a major Democratic candidate looking at Bitcoin as a potential viable option. And it's big because it is the state of California, which is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, Democratic state in the 50 states of the US. And it's Ian Calderon who's running for California governor. And he vows to make the state the, quote, undisputed leader on Bitcoin. Now, this is majorly significant because Calderon previously pushed back on the Blockchain Policy Fund and worked with the Satoshi Action Fund and Dennis Porter. And he has stopped short allowing the states to hold Bitcoin directly. Now, let's look at what the current guy in power, Gavin Newsom, what he has said about Bitcoin, because it is a very interesting tale here. Because Gavin Newsom has made an executive order saying that they can create a comprehensive and harmonized, regulatory framework. They said the digital asset, but they delayed the implementation of the digital asset financial law. But something that has been very unique with all of this is that he has looked at Bitcoin as one for saying that it's an unclaimed property. So this essentially says that if something is left for, I believe, 4 or 5 years at a time without being touched, it's inactive, then their assets could be seized by the state after 3 years of inactivity. So if you're just buying and holding or hodling, I mean, at this point, they would seize your assets if you just hodled for 3 years. And let's see how significant this is for just California's perspective, because if we get a pure Bitcoin governor in there, California has a bigger GDP than Singapore, Ireland, Argentina, Switzerland, Saudi Arabia combined. And if you look at the GDP by country, California has a bigger GDP than China, Germany, and Japan. It would be the fourth largest country, or maybe outside of it would be the fourth largest country outside of the United States, of course. So right after Japan, it would be India, the UK. It would have a bigger GDP and all of these different things. And what have we been seeing a rapid trend from the state of California here recently is we've been saying that essentially millionaires have been fleeing out of California. Now, all of them are leaving. Rich Americans are ditching California to take their tax dollars with them. And now the tax rates they're fleeing have been raised even higher. So it's absolutely crazy that young, rich Americans are fleeing California and piling into Florida because of the just anti-rich policies that they've been playing. And I just got the notification I lost audio, so I'm not going to play this for you guys. But essentially, Ian Calderon has been saying, hey, you know what? California used to be a big powerhouse. We used to be one of the richest states where every millionaire wanted to live there. And if you've been out to California, it's absolutely gorgeous. Every time I go out there, my initial thought is, how the hell did they ruin this state? It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But if you look at how California had its boom, right, it was heavily influenced by its global tech sector, which means it should have been ripe for the Bitcoin sector. But we've seen companies, people, and millionaires alike flee out of the country for all of this. We've seen, Tesla, Joe Rogan's, everybody just leave out of California to places that are more friendly, right? Even though it's been, it's one of the most beautiful places in the world. And what has Ian Calderon really seen? I think that all of these guys really look at Saylor and look and see the success of MicroStrategy. I think that the success here is just drastically different. I mean, we see Tesla, right? Even Tesla's doing outstanding comparatively. But Tesla left California. We have Google having a big branch in Texas now, and same with Apple, even though they have their headquarters still in California. And we're seeing MSTR still hugely outperforming all these guys. So these states are seeing how well companies are doing with it, how many purchases MSTR and the alikes are doing, and seeing them utilize all of these different financial assets. And I mean, if you look at it, the United States has 16 different states that have introduced state level Bitcoin reserve legislation as of March of this year. We had Arizona, Florida, Montana, New Hampshire, North Dakota, Pennsylvania, Texas. But all of these guys, they're either waiting on votes, they pass something, or it's still moving on. But no one state has created that strategic reserve just yet. But they're all moving forward, right? Like in June, Texas said that they're going to start to create the strategic reserve. Well, all of these guys are smaller, have a smaller economy than California. Hate to break it to you, folks. Texas, California, New York, those are the three biggest. So we have Texas moving it forward, no New York, California, and then Florida is maybe the fourth or fifth largest. So at this point, we need these big dogs to come in and embrace it. And it's not just the states, right? I mean, look at this. We have a ton of different countries who have gone through with large Bitcoin holdings. We have US with nearly 200,000, China, UK, Ukraine, Bhutan, and El Salvador. Of course, it's just small. And Finland has a tiny bit, and India has a tiny bit. But, I mean, if you look at these other governments, right? We have the EU. They've been criticizing it. But a lot of these other countries are starting to look at the potential of the US Bitcoin Strategic Reserve. This is essentially going to change the game. So even though a lot of these countries, they're looking to all of these countries are looking to gain Bitcoin access, but a lot of them get Bitcoin access through MSTR because they haven't been buying just straight spot Bitcoin just yet. So we've got countries like Norway, South Korea, France, Saudi Arabia, the US, all having exposure to MSTR. Now, with that, right, if you look at like the sovereign wealth funds, you guys know I love to show this. The largest in the world. Norway's the absolute biggest, and it's not even close. So we have Norway, and then I believe South Korea was on. Nope, Hong Kong is on here. That's it. Hong Kong has exposure to MSTR. Then we have Saudi Arabia and the UAE. They all have exposure to Bitcoin. And then we have, just generic. And then if you look at this, the EMA, Europe, Middle East, and Africa, in the fiscal year, the EMA represented 33% of the company's revenue. All of these countries have MSTR. Denmark, France, Germany, Israel, Italy, Poland, Portugal. All of these big guys. Even the UK, who coincidentally started to make plans for the United States and their crypto initiative, let's call it. I did a video on that yesterday. So those of you guys who are subscribed know. And if you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscription button for your boy. But either way, you guys know I went and did this video on the UK and the US exploring this task force. And that has been essentially worrisome for me just because of what we've seen before. I mean, like I said, we have Gavin Newsom, who has just been openly negative about Bitcoin, and in fact, proposing that unclaimed property law that might be toast if this Ian Calderon gets into office. But the safest way to hold your Bitcoin, folks, is in self-custody. So you should do that and get it off an exchange so you don't hold Bitcoin in a place where it could be seized. So that's why you guys should go to the affiliate link in the show notes and go to Trezor. Get yourself a Trezor today. I've got mine, my Safe 5 right here. Do it today. Do it quickly. Get yourself a Safe 5. Use the promo code GreenCandle5 for 5% off, because you need to watch out for these guys. Of course, Ian Calderon, he's going to try to avoid getting any craziness going in here, but we're still not there yet. And not only do you need a hardware wallet, you need to back it up. Backing it up is honestly almost as important, if not more important, than having a hardware wallet. Because if you lose the hardware wallet, if you don't have your seed phrase, well, you're kind of toast. So get yourself a backup at CryptoSteel. You could go to CryptoSteel.com, use promo code GreenCandle, CryptoSteel.com/GreenCandle, excuse me. Use that one. Go to CryptoSteel. Get yourself one. Use promo code GreenCandle. You can get 10% off. So GreenCandle5 at Trezor. Get 5% off. GreenCandle on CryptoSteel. You'll get 10% off. I'm saving you 10 and 5%. And you can get your Bitcoin off an exchange so you don't have to worry about the thought of this unclaimed property law. Because, I mean, we're seeing the Norwegian pension funds start to buy Bitcoin or try to get Bitcoin exposure through MSTR. But this Silicon Valley boom is going to happen. We're going to see California jump onto it, right? So California is going to start aping into Bitcoin here, and hopefully they just get away from this, shitcoinery that we see. But Silicon Valley essentially has held up this entire economy. And if you guys see like how dramatic California's economy is comparatively, well, California's economy is absolutely massive compared to the globe, and it's all largely held up by tech. Now, what we are seeing too is that, Saylor went on Fox, and like I said, I think I lost sounds, but he essentially said in this clip that it is extremely vital that the United States buys Bitcoin so it can remain the dominant world power. Well, we're seeing California's power wane here. We're seeing their economy start to slow down just a bit. And because their economy's slowing down, well, we're worried that, it's still not in a place where it should be, so to speak, because of where we saw that economic boom. And so, when you think you're too late to all of this, and California, let's say, doesn't think they're too late just yet because they're starting to get into it. Ian Calderon is saying, hey, we need to use Bitcoin to save us. And, we're seeing gold prices surge like crazy. We're getting to gold in a minute, but I've seen crypto adoption. Look at this. This is from just a mainstream account. Bank of America had a survey that showed 75% of investors have zero exposure to crypto. And so Dub is saying, I'm in the belief that MSTR may be holding a lot of paper Bitcoin. I would not be surprised. Of course, I've showed you guys that from BlackRock. Don't forget, go to that link, Treasure, get the promo code Green Candle 5 for the Crypto Steel promo code Green Candle for 10% off. Do that today. Just click the link for me, folks. Go ahead there and join in. And then with all of that, you guys are under the belief that, I am too, that MSTR could be holding potentially a lot of paper Bitcoin. Well, it seems like nobody's even holding Bitcoin at this point. 75% of investors don't have. That's not just like 75% of people. Investors are a small amount of just the general population, right? The general population just doesn't even have $1,000 for an emergency. 75% of people who have enough money to invest do not have any exposure to crypto right now. And I hate using that word crypto, but, to Bitcoin. So I think that we're going to see this develop here because now U.S. lawmakers are requesting that the SEC implements President Trump's executive order allowing 401ks to buy crypto. So now that would unlock a ton of access and money to that. This opens $10 trillion to the crypto market, which is 2.5 times the market cap of crypto right now. And investors are buying a ton of gold. So, like I said, the investor markets here are really just looking for a quote unquote inflation hedge. And so because there is a desire for an inflation hedge, so to speak, we are seeing a run to the mill and people going and getting into Bitcoin more often. And so we're going to see more political candidates really start to see the power of the Bitcoin space. We saw it. It was evident in this last election where we saw, Trump speaking at the Bitcoin conference. We saw Kamala Harris potentially coming, then back out. But all of this stuff was absolutely crazy. And so, when we see the gold futures market open up and we see the futures market of Bitcoin still hanging around, you've got to watch out for the amount of money that's getting thrown in because it's not all directly buying spot Bitcoin, right? So these 401ks might be able to hold spot Bitcoin here in a second. Right now, they could just buy these crypto ETFs. But the SEC is looking at this and they're seeing, hey, you know what? The $4.1 trillion market cap of the entire crypto market, which is about $2.5 trillion, is Bitcoin only. Well, we're going to see just how quickly things can change here because we're already starting to see it just from the treasury landscape. We have 194 different publicly traded companies now holding Bitcoin, 27 in the last 30 days. So literally a new publicly traded company coming in every single day. And that is not slowing down, folks. Not one bit. That is rapidly accelerating. And because that's rapidly accelerating, we're starting to see a lot of the privacy tech, a lot of these things really start to come out. And I think that, when you take a step back and you look at how much Bitcoin is getting adopted at this point, the other day we just saw 4 publicly traded companies stack 1.4 billion themselves. And you guys know I love to show this chart, the Bitcoin on exchanges. It's going down every single month. Every single day even. There's 2.13 million Bitcoin left on exchanges today. And on OTC desks, there's only 155,000. And then there's only 450 Bitcoin mined every single day. And so the demand just keeps going up. And we have Michael Saylor going to the White House, speaking to the United States government about the potential of getting this Bitcoin strategic reserve. And I think you guys forgot. If you haven't been subscribed, you haven't heard me talk about it in a minute, but Michael Saylor proposed that the United States buys 5 million Bitcoin. Senator Cynthia Lummis proposed 1. That's literally 5x the difference. So instead of buying 200,000 coins every year for 5 years, we'd buy 1 million coins every year for 5 years. Where are they going to get those 1 million coins, folks? That is the question. Is it going to be from the guy sitting in that chair right there? Or is he potentially getting all that paper Bitcoin? I don't really know the answer to that question, but it is an interesting little thought experiment if the United States is really in cahoots. And it seems like, Saylor was pictured there, but people were very secretive about it. In that clip, I wish I could show you guys, but I don't have the audio. In that clip, they were basically saying all that. Yeah, and I mean, I know I heard the news from my friend. So if you guys are on X or any other social media, watch out. Please send your condolences to my friend Luke. Hit up YouTube, I don't know, community guidelines or community something. Try to get his channel back, because that's crazy. I don't know what else to say on that. I'm just gonna kind of keep my thoughts in on that, and send my prayers to my friend Luke. I know he works very hard on this channel, and when you see Bitcoin at 113,000, I mean, you think that Bitcoin is still going to just go up forever and to the right, folks. But sometimes you hit some bumps in the road. So we're seeing it go down just a little bit. But I do think that overall, we're going to see Bitcoin start to take off. And I mean, we've got President Trump even saying some crazy bullish things here lately, saying, quote, "One day Bitcoin will overtake gold." And this is Trump saying this, right? Big and influential figure. And with the policy adjustments, and Saylor saying that he's buying on the top forever and Bitcoin's the exit strategy, where he's never going to sell his Bitcoin. Well, green candle, all the beach whales took over Luke's channel. Oh my goodness. I should have wore a suit and tie to this live stream for Luke's funeral. And I don't know if it was you, Dub, but I haven't talked to Luke here today. He tried to call me a little bit. But yeah, he was doing he was doing a lot of videos similar to the one I did yesterday. I'll just leave it at that. And I think that might have been it, unfortunately. Yeah. RIP to my friend Luke. Just kidding. He's not deceased or anything. His channel is just down. Which we will get it figured out. Let's get the positive vibes back here, folks. I got the blue light glasses on right now because I'm trying to just focus on the health, because some things are bigger than YouTube, right? So if you guys are looking to get and live some longevity hours, I've got a friend of the program who bought this light here, the daylight, or he bought the Sky Portal 2.1. He has absolutely rave reviews. If you click here, you can buy it in US dollars too. It's not just always priced in Bitcoin. But if you use promo code Green Candle and you go to based.getchroma.co, or the link down in the show notes, make sure you guys show some love. Get some of yourself some golden glows, man. I know you guys are all looking at screens all day. Get some golden glows or some nightshades. I'm telling you, It will dramatically change your life. It has changed mine. So make sure you guys get some of these because they're not only stylish, but honestly, like I use them every day for a reason. And I'm so glad they decided to partner with me. So make them not forget it. Make them love the Green Candle channel because I love their product and I know you guys would love it too. Now, and we're going to see the potential of some big things ahead because we got 94% chance of a rate cut. Let's see what the CME group is saying here right now because we have 34 days until a rate cut. We have 91.9% chance. So it's gone down a little bit from that 94, but still more likely than not that we're going to be cutting rates here. So it looks like to me that this is going to be something that, is inevitable at this point. And because it's inevitable, well, we're going to see Bitcoin shoot up. I mean, more liquidity is going to come in and dump into Bitcoin. And you see it when the M2 money supply comes in, you guys know what happens. People are looking for an inflation hedge. Luke was whale watching. He just does that all the time. It's not just on his channel that he's whale watching. Every time, Luke IRL loves the whales. She ain't a lady if she ain't 280. That's his saying. And the Fed, yes, could say that they've changed their mind after they reviewed the data. But, at the end of the day, what we are seeing is that the Fed is going to be using data. Now, folks, don't even get me started on the rant on the data here, because what have we seen from the data? The jobs data revision is literally the largest in history that we've ever seen, right? We've had 911,000 fewer jobs in the last 12 months. They wrote that down. So the data that the Fed is using is just essentially faulty at this point. It's not real time. It's from surveys. Nobody does the surveys. And this data is just absolutely terrible. So we're going to start to see the advancement. And I think we saw Trump fire him. But everybody's looking at, how this data is all right, how it's back and forth and all these different things. I think at the end of the day, we need to really just look at just how sporadic all these things are, right? Like I said, Bitcoin, essentially they're saying, we know the fixed cycle. We know how much is coming out. We don't have one man having all the power. We are having too many instances with all of that, right? The data is always wrong and then they'll change it, right? I mean, it's like they use these models. And the other crazy thing that I've seen here lately is that, they're saying that CPI, it's at 2.9. We're going to have to change the target. Well, it's absolutely crazy because 72% of the data in CPI is higher than that inflation target. Let me pull that up real quick. Yeah. Inflation risks are rising. 72% of CPI components are now surging faster than the Fed's 2% target. This increase is from 55% seen a year ago. By comparison, it was 57% from 2018 to 19. And I think that's when people saw people saw the potential here, because 2018 and 19, I don't know if you guys remember dating back that time, because obviously that was pre-pandemic, but the Fed raised interest rates there because they saw some weakness in the economy. So they were trying to raise interest rates to get inflation under wraps. But hey, it didn't end up happening. And then, of course, all the massive amounts of money printing happened, and here we are here today. I mean, my God. Does not make any sense whatsoever. So they think that we're essentially going to grow our way out of this and think of AI and computers to decide the price of money. It doesn't matter what the input will be correct. Yeah. I mean, I think that they think the economy, the AI economy that we see, the belief is that we'll grow our way out of this, which I don't necessarily see as the potential here. Either way, folks, make sure you're smoking that like Cheech and Chong, hitting the subscribe button, telling a friend to tell a friend, and send prayers to my good friend Luke. And I'll catch you guys all at the next one.